Cool. So thanks for having me. I have a lot to say, so I'll try not to talk too fast. But I'm here to tell you about how docs folks make awesome ERG advocates. Quick overview of who I am. My name is Renee, pronouns are they, them, known as the Docs Mage. I work at Heap, which is a product analytics startup, and by day I do documentation, and also by day I am the founder and leader of Heap Pride, which is our LGBTQ ERG, and I also just joined our DEI committee to be the committee chair. For those of you not familiar with the term, ERG stands for Employee Resource Group. These are groups that are designed to provide a supportive space for folks who share similar struggles. You may have heard of ERGs for Black, Indigenous people of color, LGBTQ, women, folks with disabilities, parents, veterans, and more. Fun fact is that they started in the 60s. I didn't realize they were around this long until recently during the Civil Rights Movement, and that the first ERG was the National Black Employees Caucus at Xerox. Why ERGs are important? It goes without saying that the USA is having a moment where reckoning with the impact of systematic oppression. I mean, we have a long history of this, but we're currently having like a big discussion about it. And a lot of companies are realizing that they really need to put in the work to support their employees and become more advocates. And so ERGs provide a space for employees to connect. And so companies are having a conversation of how can we support our ERGs? More importantly, when you're involved with ERGs, you directly benefit. This is often a time for someone to work collaboratively with teams they've never worked for before. Like I work with sales a lot more than I used to. There's opportunities to showcase your ability to lead if you haven't had the opportunity in your team. There's opportunities to mentor other people. And most importantly, ERGs provide core business value, and this is something that businesses are recognizing. So you have the ability to contribute to that. Employees or companies that have ERGs have higher rates of people who stay, people who grow, and people who are just happy to be there. So let me get into the heart of what I want to discuss today, which is why technical writers are good ERG advocates. And a main part of it is just that we share struggles with these groups. So an advocate, I use this term to refer to you could lead an ERG, you could just participate, you may be an ally, you may play different roles depending on which ERG you're interacting with. So as I said earlier, ERGs have to be cross-collaborative, kind of harkening back to Joe's slide. They work with so many different groups. I work with the people team to set up events. I work with the finance team to get budget, which is a huge one. And so tech writers are already used to kind of fighting to be seen and heard. Hey, docs matters when it comes to a release. It's like, hey, ERGs matter when it comes to your company culture and to distributing finances and things like that. And so I think that technical writers have a tough skin and a voice that we can bring to this work. One big thing is ERGs need to have really, really good communication, and they need to use their words correctly to ensure they're empowering the people that they mean to empower. And so writing a mission statement, writing goals, communicating in Slack, like announcing events, this is all being able to use words correctly and write well is core to this. And so I think tech writers can bring a lot there. And tech writers are already mostly familiar with translating like business needs to use cases. So, you know, you get a product, you have to figure out how people are going to use it, and then you have to write that out. ERG leaders oftentimes have to connect the business value to the people value. Like we get to be our authentic selves at work so we can contribute more and we get promoted and things like that. And so because we're already used to doing all of this important work, I think that we have a huge role to play. And so basically the point of this talk was to spark your interest in ERGs at all. If you want to start one at your company, here are some brief steps because I only have 5 minutes. Create space, document the foundations, collaborate. You can ping me for more advice. So you want to support your existing ERGs, just ask. ERGs already know what they need, so just go find out who they are, say, hey, I want to support you. Also advocate for them. Bring up your ERGs as often as you can to new hires, to existing people on your team when there's talks about finances. Just kind of keep ERGs on your mind at all times and you can support them. And so that was all I had. I'm Docs Mage on the Write the Docs Slack and Twitter, and I'm happy to talk about ERGs with anyone who's interested.